Hey folks, Chris, Midwest Long Range. I'm back in the shop today. I've got Dalton Cassidy back in here with me. Today we're gonna have a conversation. We've been kind of getting through the winter, trying to get in a little bit of shooting, and we're gonna kind of breeze over some of the hot topics and see where it takes us. Stick with me. All right, we're back. So today, Dalton and I went down to Billings, Missouri at the Springfield Bench Rest Rifle Club, right? Club. Yep. And we shot February's Course of Fire for NRL 22. Dalton, he burnt me a little bit. I don't know if I should cuss in this.
I burnt myself.
But he took second, I took third. A young gentleman, Matt, I believe was his name.
Matt
from Springfield.
Last name escapes me.
Yeah, he come in there with a almost stock CZ and sent us both home.
Yeah.
But it was a great match. We had a lot of fun. But so we both shot the same course fire.
Yep.
I know what stage. But that was one of the bonus stages. That wasn't part of the regulation. The five.
No, it was a bonus stage by the match director.
Yeah, so we're just gonna get right into that.
All right.
We get on that KYL. Jeremy comes up there first. He cleans it with a Rim.
Yep.
And here I come with a Voodoo, and I clean it with a Voodoo, even though I had a rim lock.
Yep.
And this 60-second stage, again, this is not part of regulation NRL. This was a bonus stage just for our local match. But, and then on top of that, then I think you were up third, weren't you?
Third.
Yep. Oh, so, hey, you're leaking.
Hey, better tend to that.
I'm sorry, Cyclops. I'm spilling beer. We didn't drink at the match. We're just drinking now. That's alcohol abuse now. That's terrible. And why is it doing that? Anyway, sorry.
More or less in a nutshell, after seeing Jeremy, which is the match director, come out and he had a really solid run. I think the stage was 8 rounds of KYL, all the way from 2 inch to 1/4 inch in 60 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tight time restriction. He gets up there, runs it, clean run.
Mm-hmm.
Booger here gets up there and runs it, clean run. So I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to listen to his dumbass the whole way home about how he beat me by 1 point or some shit, because that's happened before. So I'm thinking, I've got to get up here and step it up. I mean, I know I've got a couple point lead ahead of him, but so I step up and I'm burning through a KYL rack, shooting good. I'm on 50 yards. I mean, done it a lot. And I get down to this 1/4 inch target, and so happens that there is a limb patch behind this target. I mean, I even take a second take, and I'm thinking, okay, I can't distinguish the target from the limb. Is that even the target? Yep, that's the target. Torch it off. It wasn't the target.
It was a twig.
It was a twig.
Yeah, I think one of the other guys that was shooting in the squad with us, they were on glass, and they're like, I don't think that's. I think you thought it was an impact, and then I don't know. It was a little slow kind of.
I seen exactly what happened as soon as it did, and then my heart just sank. But anyway,
I know because
he was questionable on it. Yeah.
Anyway, but so that was you. What about the main course fire, like the 5 stages, the NRL? I mean, it's been a while. When was the last time you shot an NRL match?
Oh, close to a year.
Yeah. I know we shot that X. Well, we shot that X match, but that's not really NRL style.
I'd say probably 6-8 months. On that, man, coming from seeing the conception of NRL 22, shot it since it more or less started. Not saying the course of fire wasn't challenging. I mean, it is. I mean, for all levels of shooters, but it got very stale. Now, maybe that's just my opinion, but it did. It seemed like you rehash a lot of the same courses of fire, a lot of the same format. And I gotta say, the last year I've noticed, especially, they're really stepping up. They're giving more options for yardages.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing. Is, I mean, a lot of guys, I mean, about anywhere can accommodate 100 yards, and I get why they do that because they want to make it available to everybody. But 100 yards and in, man, and once you get that under your belt and you're proficient at it, it just kind of gets monotonous, you know.
Yeah, and now they do have that option too, where you can go out to, I don't know if it's 200 yards.
I don't remember. I seen something today on the Course of Fire sheet. I think it was like where we had a 63 and a 93. I think they start like 140 and went up to like 200 and something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
No, I some of the, you know, and I do understand their Course of Fire.
Yeah.
They're trying to do something that can be easily done, replicated all the way across the country.
Yep.
But me not really doing a ton of NRL, I think I only did like one match last season. But, which technically, their season starts totally different at PRS.
It's like halfway through their year, kind of.
Yeah. It's a little odd. But I did notice today it felt very PRS, kind of the way the stages were set up. We were still using the props and stuff that would be easily gotten at any match. No, in case anybody's wondering, I did not film today. I'm trying to get in a habit of shooting matches and getting better at shooting matches. And, you know, we're still going to we're going to film some, but I'm not going to film every single match I go to. If it's a new range I've never been to, or a brand new event, you know, something that really warrants it, I'll film those. But trying to shoot the match, film the match, and then go home and edit the film, you know, last season I filmed a fair amount of matches, but the amount of time you put in, it was just, I'm a shooter first and a YouTuber second. I don't even know that I would even call myself a YouTuber. It's a lot of guys do, but it's not my primary focus.
Yep.
My primary focus is shooting, and it just so happens that with this, we can kind of show people what we're doing and try to get more of them in it. The more people show up,
that's what I started to say. The thing I always appreciate about your channel was it wasn't about you reviewing a certain product or you having a tagline for somebody else or whatever it may be. It was more of a tool.
Yeah.
You're going through stuff, learning yourself, and what stuff you do learn and you feel knowledgeable of, you are bringing to the table, or I mean.
I'm gonna continue to do a few products here and there. Me and you've talked about this a bunch. Yeah. I just don't want to get so product heavy that we lose track of what we kind of. When I first started this stuff, I know at the time I don't think I'd met you quite yet when I first kind of geared it up. But it was shortly after. I hadn't been doing much. I mean, my very first PRS match video and PRS match.
Yeah.
You were the match director. Yeah. And that's kind of how me and him got to know each other. We met at a local kind of fun shoot. Yeah, golf ball shoot. That was put on down here in Fordland. And we met there, and well, you guys have seen he helped me do some reloading videos. We do a lot of shit.
Do a lot of shit off camera.
Yeah. But and then you talked me into buying a dadgum Leopold and your $250,000 hold crap.
Yeah, all right.
Now that's a good topic. $250,000 versus 2/10.
Okay. My reasoning, and I will never talk this ignorant son of a bitch into it. But nothing wrong with 2/10. 2/10 is kind of the industry standard, especially on the
easy math.
The windage duplex. Okay. And I get where it's hard. I get where it's easy to get confused or crossed up, maybe. Because, number one,
I feel like you're trying to call me simple.
Let me dumb it down for you. So, I see where it could get confusing because MOA is, it is what it is. It's quarter MOA clicks and an MOA scope. You got four clicks to make one MOA.
Working in quarter working in quarters makes sense in MOA. It makes no sense in mills.
Okay, hold on.
None.
And
Zero.
See, this is also my standpoint on everyone's argument. And this is an age-old topic for going on forever, and it's so retarded in my opinion. Mill versus MOA. Honestly, man, pick one, preferably pick Mill, and the only reason I even say that is because 9 times out of 10 when you go to a match, you're going to be one out of the 30 people that run MOA.
Well, yeah, but let's preface that. You're strictly talking about a PRS or NRL style match. In F, you're not going to see MRADs in F class that often, or at least I wouldn't think.
I ain't going to say that. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, yeah, a lot of them guys still shoot it. I mean, I don't shoot F class, but I mean, most of them run.
It really depends on the discipline, right?
Well, and from what I understand is it's not really so much that they shoot MOA because it's MOA. It's because usually the scopes, the optics that's required of them for what they do, they're mainly built in MOA. And the reason being is it's quarter MOA clicks. Now,
I thought it was because they wanted like a finer unit of measurement. You know,
well,
they can make finer adjustments.
That's kind of what I'm meaning. Like where ours and a lot of our tactical scopes, the first focal plane scopes, it's still just quarter MOA clicks. Where a lot of the stuff they're doing, they're using like a 10-40, and it's
eighth.
Yeah, I mean, a lot finer adjustment. And I say that, I mean, one of the guys off the top of my head that comes to mind is F Class John. Awesome YouTube channel, very knowledgeable guy. I love his content.
Good stuff.
He shot F Class for a little while with a Mark V, 7-35.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to look that up.
Matter of fact, if I may be telling you a lie here, but I think some of the MOA reticles for the Mark V he helped design or have some input on, at least anyway.
We would have to research that.
Yep. But anyway, the Mill versus MOA, man, I don't. All it is, as long as you have a calibrated ruler that's 2 inches in front of your face and you can read the damn thing, that's all that matters.
Well, you know Bud Weber.
Yeah, Weber.
Okay, so in case anybody out there doesn't know who I'm talking about, you can go back and look at any of my. I got a couple of match videos at
Recon by Fire.
Yeah, Recon by Fire in Park Hill, Oklahoma. The guy who owns that's Bud Weber. I mean, class act guy.
Stand up guy.
He and I, we shot one match together, and ever since then, you know, we've become pretty good friends. If I don't want to over exaggerate that, Bud might think I'm weird.
He's weird too. Don't worry about it.
Bud's a little off. He's a little different.
I bet.
You know he's going to share this in his Facebook group.
Hey, I'm weird too. I ain't calling the pot in the kettle black. I mean, yeah.
But anyway, so Bud, he and I had a conversation just a couple nights ago, and we were talking MOA versus Mill. And he was telling me how he started off in MOA, and I can't remember the gentleman's name that told him this, because Bud was having a hard time making the transition to Mill Radiant. And the story he told was that basically the guy told him, he said, man, they're just numbers.
They're just numbers.
He's like, use the reticle. He's like, measure with the reticle. If you shoot, and say you're trying to sight in on paper, and you shoot, but you hit down here, well, you know that's, you know, say you hit 2 mils low and 1 mil left.
Yep.
Your turrets are in a good scope, at least, you know, modern day, we don't see much of the split stuff anymore. Yep. But in a matched reticle, matched turrets, you know, just take your measurement and dial it. And make your correction. They're just numbers. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, as long as the 2 match each other.
So with that being said, what's your hang up on a quarter mil?
Because a mil works in increments of 10, not 4.
Okay. And I get that. For dialing, absolutely. For figuring out a hole.
I can't dial.
Your ballistic solution, right?
I can't dial 25, or what would that be? That'd be 25 hundredths of a mil. No. If you think about that, I can't
but
dial.
You don't have to. So all the reticle there is for is it's a calibrated ruler.
I know.
All you need to do is to see where you missed, where on the reticle you missed at, and use that to make a correction.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the whole point of it. But to me, the reason why I strongly like quarter mil is because it's cleaner. It's not as cluttered. it's easier to see the miss. I'm not saying that 2/10 is ever going to cause you to miss your miss, but
Okay, so to kind of get back to where this part of the conversation for me and him really gets increment is, I'm sure in this view you can see that's his CZ Rimfire with a Leopold Mark V with a PR2 reticle.
Yep.
Out of that camera, you should be able to see my Voodoo sitting over there. And today, I was running one of my centerfire scopes, which is my Nightforce ATAC R 7-35, and I run it with a Mill XT reticle.
XT?
Yeah. So, basically, he's shooting quarter mil holds in that, and with the little brackets and the openings. I mean, those reticles couldn't be any more different. Really, if you think of
no,
it.
and that's
just the whole science behind each one is.
That's why the reticle really stands out to me. I mean, even not trying to take anything away from the scope. The scope's an awesome scope, especially for the money. And even if it costs $3,400, I'd still own a Mark V. I love it. Yeah. The reticle, though, and even the CCH that I had before this.
Hi, Bud. Bud has that scope now.
it just made so much sense to me that on your duplex or wherever your subtensions are on the reticle, they were windowed. Because that's something that a lot of guys transitioning from an older, regular, straight duplex style scope have trouble with is the stuff gets in the way. It's too cluttered. And I think we can all kind of agree with that at some point. Some of these reticles are just ridiculous. But
the Horus reticle.
Horus.
I can't shoot them.
But Leopold thought about that and decided, well, hey, we're going to have subtensions and give you plenty of them that you can use, but we're going to give you a window of it on the duplex to where you can still get some contrast behind that reticle and see where you're holding.
Well, yeah, so explain what you're talking about. I mean,
so rather than you having not only the duplex of your elevation and windage, your crosshairs.
I mean, because you do have a target dot.
You do have a target dot in the middle.
But we're talking about once you get out into your windage and elevation holds. Yeah.
So rather, let's just pick on the 1 mil subtension on your horizontal line, your horizontal windage duplex. Instead of having another intersection where it's literally a cross, you have that, but where the two lines meet is windowed.
Yeah,
it's hollow. They break. So
you can see
the target through the subtension.
Yeah,
and it sounds so simple and so. I mean, that's just it. It is simple. It's something simple that works. I mean, you wouldn't realize it until you go to use it. And okay, whatever.
But see, these are two very different trains of thought. Both styles work. This is where I get down to telling people when I don't get asked about scopes every day. I'm not the scope guy. But if you want the scope guy, there's tons of other channels you can go check that out. I'll look at a few of them, but what I care about the most is how they operate in a match situation where I use them. But the scopes and reticles are so personal.
They are.
Me and you couldn't have a more different opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think either one of us would argue that either one of those two optics is very high quality.
More than capable of winning a match. I mean,
I keep telling people, don't get hung up on what somebody else says. No. Go to a match and see if people let you look through their scope.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, don't. Like, I get you're going to want to buy something and get started with. That's fine.
Yep.
Keep it simple. Buy, an Athlon or something.
Yeah.
Or a Ride-On or just something that's simple and will get you started. Don't go out and buy a $3,000 optic when you don't really know what it is you want yet.
No, and it's so funny. People get so hung up on glass, like where the glass is from. Is it Japanese? Is it Austrian? Is it German?
Just find one that fits.
Well, exactly. I'm not an optics engineer. I barely understand how to run the frickin' scope I got. But in all honesty, for everyone that I've ever talked to or a podcast I listen to, they all say the same thing, and that's it doesn't matter what glass it has. As long as the glass is cut and ground good, which all of them are, the coating's what matters. And every brand of scope's going to have its own proprietary, patent-pending coating that, they're going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you why it's better than the next guy's. But when it comes to me, is like the Nightforce stuff. The Nightforce stuff is an awesome product. I mean, it's Nightforce. I mean, it has, been tested for years. Yep. It has a name behind it. But to me, optically, with my eyes, it's not that the glass isn't clear. It's very clear, very crisp, but they have almost like a blue tint to it.
I've heard that said before.
And
I don't personally see it. And I mean, I've owned a Mark V.
Yep.
And I use Mark V's. Phil down at the shop, he's got them. And, you know, we shoot through them, and I don't have much issue with them. The only issue I have with the Mark V is in the Rimfire game, if you go to some of these matches, occasionally you'll see these super close targets.
25 yards and in.
Well, I mean, I think Bud had one at like 15 yards or something. And I mean, luckily I was shooting a Nightforce and I parallaxed down to 10 yards.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Nobody there was shooting a Mark V that day, but...
And that's one thing I will say. When they developed that scope, I definitely don't think they had the Rimfire stuff.
No, it's a centerfire scope.
It's a centerfire scope. But even with that being said, that is the one complaint I have on the scope with me running it in PRS 22 or NRL 22. But even then, if you're going to be that close, I'm not going to be maxed up on 25 power anyway. I'm going to back it off to 10 or 15, and the parallax is more or less a non-issue. But exactly, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So we've talked about scopes, and either one of us could nerd out on that stuff all day.
Yeah.
But one of those deals, you know, we'll move on to some other stuff. Obviously, like I said, we shot the NRL match today. We, again, he took second, I took third, and another gentleman took first. Wasn't a huge match, it was a smaller match.
Smaller. The match director just now getting started, want to support him.
And that's matches and how to get to them. That's a big topic, and I'm going to be doing a video coming up. I'm not exactly sure when it'll release. We've got some things going on, but I'm going to do a video, put some stuff together, and try to get it out there to, you know, where do you got to go to find these matches? How do you get signed up? How do you get into this group? Because a lot of people just don't know, you know, and to kind of, I'll give away some of the stuff I'll do in the video, but a big part of it, unfortunately, I'm not a Facebook fan, but most of us are all on Facebook.
Yep.
It's a
at least
unfortunate, yeah.
I mean,
it may not be that way everywhere else, but like if you're wanting to get into NRL or PRS. All right, sorry about that. We had a brief interruption, but so where we were talking about was how to find matches, you know, and stuff like that. Obviously Facebook, but really I feel like the primary source should probably be going to like the NRL's website, the PRS series website, and also just kind of go down to your local gun shops and stuff. A lot of times they know about, you know, gun clubs and stuff like that, local matches. If you're in like the southern Missouri area, I mean, stop by Midwest Gun and Pawn. Phil sitting in the shop, you know, he's got 22 match schedules hanging on the wall. I think he printed off the Centerfire both series. But if you're not in our area, just go down to your local range or your matches. God, I can't talk. Go down to your local shops if you don't know where else to start. Get on Facebook, and a lot of times if you go to those shops, you can find. You figure out, you know, some of the ranges, what their names are. Then you can look, you can Google them up, see if they've got a website, and then see if they've got a Facebook page. I mean, most of the time their websites are about useless. Their Facebook pages have more information, unfortunately.
And something that really comes to my mind too is if you're in this sport and you're probably looking to buy a rifle, or maybe you're a rifle enthusiast, whatever, you probably got a pretty good local gunsmith near to you that is his bread and butter. He does precision bolt action rifles. Mm-hmm. You can damn well bet that if he's making a career out of bolt action rifles, he knows where these matches are.
Yeah,
I mean,
those would be some good guys to start. But if you don't have a gunsmith and you're not familiar with your local shops, start with the PRS and the NRL website. whether it's centerfire, rimfire, or whatever. If you want to do, if you're talking, this is on this channel, we obviously stick to anything precision rifle or precision rimfire. Yeah. We're into bolt action rifles. I don't do 2-gun or 3-gun or any of that stuff. But once you get into this and you meet some people, it just spirals. Everybody knows who to go call to find out where this is or that is. So it kind of just blows up. And then, of course, you also look up practice score. I always forget about practice score. Yeah. A lot of people, but it's a great way to find stuff if you've never had it. If you don't already have a background.
If the search engine works right.
If the search engine works. But practice score can be a resource. Yep. We all use it for whether it be scoring matches, finding matches, signing up for matches. But I'll get more into that in a later video. So let's kind of go over some of the stuff we got coming up. I mean, we got some pretty cool projects that you're going to be part of, and that I've got going on separate.
The one big one. Oh, okay. So
the elephant in the room over there.
This is something I teased in the last video I think I've done with you.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, at least anyway, that is the only 12 twist 22 precision rimfire 22, especially in this area, and it's probably the only one that I've seen, at least anyway. And I've looked pretty hard on YouTube. It's not.
I don't know. By the time this video comes out, he might. I mean, we sent a barrel to Josh Thomas at Pursuit of Accuracy.
Yep.
Josh is a friend of mine. He and I talk a lot. Dalton was kind enough to loan him a barrel. He did some testing. I don't know what he's doing with that, or where he. Yeah, I'm not sure where he landed.
I ain't heard nothing really out of it.
But
no, the 12 twist stuff has been kind of a hot topic in the precision rimfire world to a sense, especially on the Facebook forums.
I know several places are testing it. I mean, we know Voodoo's played with it.
I was gonna say, not to let a cat out of the bag, Voodoo, but I was at the Precision Rifle Expo back in October. Rick was one of the guys there, one of the staff members.
I don't know him.
I don't either. Well, maybe not there. Until then, I didn't know him.
Better than I do.
Cool guy. They had 2 Voodoos down there to test. And I've been fortunate I was able to go to Precision Rifle Expo all 3 years that it's been held. And they've always been there, been a big supporter of it. Mike Bush is usually there. He wasn't this year, but anyway, I digress. They had 2 guns there. One, I believe, is Mike's personal gun. Matter of fact, he done a YouTube video. It's in the manner of TCS.
Okay.
Anyway, shot it. It was a traditional 16 twist, 360. The other one they had was in the Foundation Centurion, Gen 2, 90 degree, but it had a 9 twist barrel. Mm-hmm. And if you follow Sniper's Hide or really looked into this Fast Twist 22 stuff, Mike Bush has done quite a bit of, well, he ain't really produced a whole lot of information, I guess. He's talked about a lot on Sniper's Hide and one certain things.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it. I don't think I've read much of it myself.
Basically, from what I've understood and remember of it, Mike has played with this for a little while with the 9 twist. It's been very finicky in regards to barrel length and ammo selection. And that is what Rick at Precision Rifle Expo from Voodoo told me as I shot the gun. The gun shot good at 200 yards. It really did. It produced good groups. Everyone down there loved shooting it. But he said that it was very lot dependent. And
well, I'll tell you that out of the Voodoo I shoot.
Yeah, and that's rimfire in general. But
yeah, I mean,
it definitely more so than the traditional 16 twist. He said, matter of fact, that they built some other ones there at the Voodoo, not Mike Bush's part in Mobile, Alabama, but in the Utah facility. They had built a handful of them, and they did not produce good groups. Matter of fact, they said that you were lucky to hit like a 2-foot target at 200 yards, I think he said. I may be exaggerating, I don't remember. But in other words, accuracy wasn't there.
And keep in mind, this is, Dalton had a conversation with a gentleman at Precision Rifle Expo that happened to work for Voodoo, and we didn't see any of this testing take place. I hate that I have to preface this stuff.
Well, yeah,
but
this is open forum talk.
Yeah, we're not trying to I shoot Voodoo. The shop that I'm affiliated with, I say affiliated with. Phil is my friend, and I help him with stuff. He sells Voodoo. Speaking of which, we have Voodoo's coming. just in case anybody wants one. There'll be. I gotta plug something.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I don't make anything off that, but we do. We've got some Voodoos coming. They ought to be here later this month. And there'll be some cool new Voodoos coming in that'll probably wind up on the channel.
Yep.
Maybe something a little Pinterest related.
Yep.
But anyway, so we, like you said, you've talked to them. This was kind of their findings so far.
Yeah.
And that's been a while ago. They may have done some stuff
I'd
since
say they may, I don't know what all they've done since then.
coming up. So we're obviously going to look at his manners with the IBI 12 twist. We're going to do some testing with it. I don't have a timeline on this, guys. This, we want to find some good weather to where we can get an accurate test out of this thing.
Yep.
And we also shoot a lot of matches and we have lives. So I'm not promising that this is going to be next week or whatever. But we also, I just got my hands on, it, I've got a 21-inch Lilja 16 twist, 3-groove that I'm putting together. I'm trying to do a couple of CZ builds, but that one, I'd like to get it together. And you've got a premium 12 twist. I've got a premium 16 twist on CZs.
Yeah.
We can kind of test some of the theories, some of the thoughts. Again, kind of like the trigger video I just did, though. It's a small sample set.
Yeah.
That's something I wish people when they comment and look. I'm not dragging on anybody here, but you have to understand that this is, to do certain kinds of tests proper, you need large samples. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I ain't got the money to buy 10 or 15 barrels to make sure to shoot hundreds of rounds through each one.
Yeah.
So, the best we can do is get the ones we bought and give you our experience with what we got.
Yep.
That's just the best we can do.
Well, and to kind of give a teaser on this 12 twist, I have 2 of these barrels, identical, cut, made on the same day. Called Marco and Ryan Stacy at IBI in Canada. Talked to them guys, picked their brain a lot. This is what I settled on. I wanted a 12 twist, 920, I believe is what it's marketed as. It's actually like 925, straight cylinder taper, CZ prefit.
Yep.
22 inch. They don't actually market the 22 inch, I think, but that is the longest blank they would cut me, was 22 inch. 8 groove.
Yeah, you're shooting 8 groove.
I forgot about that. I don't know if all of our 22 barrels are 8 groove, but they talked highly on the 8 groove stuff they tested with it, and that's what these barrels are. Yeah. But anyway, there's 2 of them. So sample set. We're going to have 2 barrels to test to put against various 16 twists of all makes and models, 3-groove Lilja, the Bartlett under Voodoo. Yeah. And I want to test 50, 100 yards, predominantly what we shoot in PRS or NRL, but also see what it's going to do at 350, 400 for these ELR shoots and the few stages we have that are long range. And
I feel like anybody who stays in the rimfire game very long, it doesn't take long to get to a match where they have either a bonus stage or a stage thrown in there that's 250, 300 yards, 350. I think I shot one at Big Piney. We did 420, 420, something like that. Then there's that Athlon ELR challenge out of Kansas. They go to 500 yards.
Yep. Well, the biggest one I know, Brian Autry, he actually come down and visited us and shot a match of mine a couple years ago. He hosts the King of 2.8 Mile.
Yeah.
And that's become a big event. They got a lot of numbers, a lot of cool stuff goes on there. And
I'd like to make it to one of those.
I would too.
So, with all that being said, we've covered tons of topics. Dalton and I talked about doing this video on the way home today from the NRL match. Thought it was a great idea. We've been talking about doing something like this for a while, but I think we probably close it for today.
Yeah.
We got a lot more topics. Depending on if you guys like hearing our discussions or even want to get involved, maybe in the future we look at doing a live stream where you guys can interact with us during this.
Better yet, I want to challenge these guys.
Oh,
now that they've got to watch us make asses of ourselves, rather than us rambling back and forth to each other like we do all the time, what's some topics you guys want?
Yeah. Well, and I think that'd be another good one for a live stream.
Yeah.
I've shied away from the live streams for a long time. I just don't know about them. Some guys are doing them successfully, but we'll look at doing some in the future. Dalton, myself, maybe we'll get some other guys involved, some other local shooters, but you know, let us know what you guys want to talk about. I mean, me and him, we brazed over a wide array of topics. We'll keep doing it. If you guys like it, we'll throw these in every once in a while. But I appreciate everybody watching. Stay safe. Go find a match. Go shoot a match.
Go shoot.
Go shoot. I don't care if it's positional, bench rest. I don't care. Get out there. Go shooting. And we'll check you out next time. This is Midwest Long Range, and we're out.